talking about just the fear, I did know the property and I knew it was just complete crapple. I mean, it was absolutely just, essentially it was a house, and it had a garage that was converted into a living space, and it was called a quote duplex,
Wow.
And what's really weird is I drove by it the other day. I was actually out in that area, and I drove by, and it's still the same old crappy piece of property, but there's people living there.
Yep.
And, the guy that sold it to me, he had kind of a model. He said, look, the people on the top of the food chain, they can pay cash any day of the week, every day of the week. That's not my client. His was literally the people on the bottom that were not under the bridge, that were basically just, that needed housing, but they didn't have any options, And so what led me through this was, first of all, was kind of solving the riddle. He had offered me a price, and I kept running the numbers. I just couldn't make it work. I was going like, I don't know how, the numbers don't add up. And I can't remember exactly what the rent was. It may have been like $700 a side. So let's just say it was $1,400 was what it was supposed to be. I think it was pretty close to that. And I was looking at it, and I spent all day as like a weekend, just a big yellow tab, and I was running my numbers, my calculator, I was just running. And finally, after doing that for a long time, I realized that, what he really said was he needed $10,000 to go buy his next property. He didn't need I forget, I think he offered it to me like $120,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't need the 120. He needed $10,000 so he could go buy this other property. So then I said, well, wait a minute. I've got a line of credit that, I can get $10,000. I don't have $10,000, but I can go get $10,000. And I started working the numbers on what would work, knowing that if I borrowed the 10, what I'd have to pay back, plus then drop that price down. And I started working the numbers. I go, okay, well, wait a minute. If he would accept this amount, and I want to say we settled at like 90 was the kind of price, or I go back and look at it. But anyway, I did that, and I said, well, I can give you 10 and this. And he goes, okay. It was like, there's no wrestling match, or like, no, that's not, it was like just this like, wait, what? And so then it was again, kind of like, now I've got a deal.
Now you're in it.
Yeah. And so literally went down to the title company, and it was just like a third of a page of paper. It was not like you go to normal closing now, there's like, sign, initial, or anymore now the DocuSign where it's like you push, click, and it's all done.
Everything's done.
Yeah. It was literally just like a third. It was a note and recorded at the county. He was my lender. Away we went. And then I was using a property management firm that was, I got indoctrinated there, that they got paid first. They took their 10%, I think it was what they were taking. And then I had tenants that were not the best pay. So they were getting late fees, and they were getting paid, first, kind of thing. And it did work. There was, I think, like I said, like in 7 months, I had gone from not being a landlord to having sold my first property. And you asked me, what was the fear? I think more than anything, I was scared to death that the tenants weren't going to pay. Okay. And sure enough, sometimes they didn't pay, but I didn't lose the property. In fact, they did pay. I'd get like 2 months the next month, or there's some sort of a makeup kind of thing. And I think the other thing too, I was concerned that somehow I would be, I don't know, socially, or there's some sort of like, I was going to have this big interaction with these tenants. You know what I'm saying? That was kind of a thing. And, it didn't happen. In 7 months, I went from, I had more money than I did 7 months before, and I had very little interaction. And I was going like, wow, it really, whatever that I was afraid of, I got through it.